to tonight's meditation time. Let's just each settle into our own space where we are. Just get comfortable. Just allow yourself just to rest, either seated or lying down, whatever feels good for you. And then gently, just allow those eyes to close and allow the breath to just come. Let's not try to control it just yet. Just let it come. And for these first few breaths, just try to separate yourself from whatever you were doing just before you arrived. For some of you, your day has just really settled down and you're headed toward bedtime. And hopefully everything is beginning to slow around your house. But for some of you, you were engaged in activity right up until the moment when you sat down and you took that first breath. And so whichever of those describes your day and your moment most closely, let's all just separate from that and come to this moment. Not worried about end of day preparations or bedtimes or the dishes that need to be loaded in the dishwasher or whatever your things are. Just come here and now. And as we're settling and separating from the moments that have already passed, let's begin to breathe together. So collectively, take a long, slow breath in. Exhale, let it go. Long, slow breath in. Exhale, let it go. One more time, deep breath in. And let it go. And you just continue a rhythm that feels nourishing and nurturing to you. Trying to find this really beautiful balance between the inhales and the exhales, just nice and slow, in and out, up and down. And allow yourself just to sink into the spot where you are, whether you are seated or lying down. Just really anchor and feel the physical grounding of that space. And for these few minutes that we have, I'm going to focus our attention on the idea of the emotional beings that we are. We are all flesh and bones and blood and tissue and stuff within this physical body. But right below the layer of the physical us, there's this emotional layer. Sometimes it feels like it's right at the physical layer. You can feel it on your skin, and sometimes it's really deep and you got to dig down to find it. But no matter what the circumstance is, the emotional layer of us is always there. It's what separates us from so many other parts of this universe, is our ability to feel, our ability to express what's inside of us through our words, through our countenance and the look on our face, through our actions. All of that comes from the emotional layer of who we are. And so what I'd like for us to do is just think to yourself, and I'll think to myself, what are a couple of emotions that you felt today? There's so many on the list that they could be, but just think. Throughout this day, the things you've encountered, what did you feel? What were the emotions that you experienced? And as we each kind of name those emotions and just know what they are inside of ourselves, just recognize we feel every day. But what tends to borrow us trouble is when we identify ourselves with those emotions. So instead of just saying that I feel or I felt angry today, or I felt frustrated, or I felt joyful, we tend to use the I am. And it becomes I am angry. I am frustrated. I am joyful. And I don't know what it is about human nature that causes that shift, but we all do it. And so we take something that was intended to be a part of us, this emotional layer of our being, a special, beautiful part of us. And all of a sudden we start assigning it labels like it's good and bad. The good emotions and the bad emotions, and the good ways to feel and the bad ways to feel. And then somewhere along that line, we turn it into those statements of I am angry. I am sad. And what I'd like to propose in these moments that we have is that we shift back to just having the feelings. Not categorizing them as good or bad, but just feeling them. That's who we are. And every one of those feelings has value. But again, somewhere along the line, the world or our culture, somewhere, someone has decided which of those feelings are good and positive and which ones are not. But here in this present moment, right here today, let's hit a reset. And let's realize that we were not only made to feel, but that our feelings have value. They have worth. And honestly, they deserve to be felt. Because we've each experienced those times when we push them down and we don't let ourselves feel them. They end up manifesting in all kinds of ways, and usually not good ways. And so I want to go back to those couple emotions we each felt today and just see what's your relationship with those feelings. Did you feel for a second that maybe what you felt was bad or negative? Or that you were like, oh, it was a good day because I felt blank? And see, just for the next few breaths, if you could just say to yourself, I felt this way. And it was valid. And it had value for me in that moment. So let's just pause. Recall those couple of emotions, whatever they were. And see if you can shift how you view them. There's a quote by Viktor Frankl that says, between stimulus and response, there is this beautiful pause. And in that pause is my ability to choose my response. If you don't know who he is, he was a Holocaust survivor. And so just think about the life that he lived and the amount of emotions that he felt during his experiences. And for him to give us the wisdom of the pause, it speaks volumes. And so I'd like to think about his idea of between the stimulus and the response, there's the pause. Somewhere in there is also what's going on inside of us. The emotional response to whatever's going on, the feeling. And then what comes out from us afterward. So go back to those couple emotions that you felt today. Can you remember what happened right before you felt them? Were you in traffic? Were you at work? Were you with a precious family member that you hadn't seen in a while? Were you in the middle of a really insurmountable task? Were you in the middle of a conflict with someone in your life? What was the event right before the emotion, right before you felt it? And then let's each think to ourselves, what was my response? An event happened, a stimulus came in, I felt, and then what? And just recall, it's not about guilt, it's not about disappointment. Just recall, what was the response from you? Our meditation practices, our practice is all about the present moment. So here today in this moment, we're going to regret whatever's gone on in the past. We're not going to regret or be remorseful about whatever that response was. But in this present moment, what can we learn from the moment that we've been given now? Between stimulus and response is a pause. And in that pause, I have the power to choose. And in that choice is where I grow. That's what this moment right here is all about. So today I felt frustrated. I know what happened right before. And I know what I did when the frustration started to bubble up inside of me. I paused. And a few years ago, my response would have been very different. But my response today was, let's move on to the next thing. I don't want to give any more of my energy to that frustration, to that stimulus that came in and caused it. If we can get to that point in our lives, not if, when we get to that point in our lives, friends, that's when you really understand the true power of your emotions. You get to feel them and validate them and process them. But you don't let them cause you trouble or cause you to create an action that you got to go back and fix, or cause you to do something that you might later regret. If you can give yourself a chance to just pause and feel, and sometimes that's for a split second, and sometimes that's for quite a while, and you walk away and you end a conversation and you just have to go feel, so that you can come back after that pause and get back to living, get back to being in this world, get back to the relationships that you have. And the beautiful thing is, when you learn to do that, there's nothing to go back and fix. You just re-enter and continue to live. So I'd like for us to cross these next couple of minutes of quiet. I know that is a lot because it hits every one of us. We all feel. And we've all had responses from our emotions that if we were to sit in a circle and talk about it, we probably are not very proud of some of them. But here in this present moment, they are done. Let's start from here. So take a long, slow breath in and just fill yourself up with all of the life force energy that you can in that breath. And then exhale, release. Inhale, take it all in again. Exhale, release. And let's just pause. Let's just pause here. Continuing to breathe. Continuing to find stillness. Let's just continue to sit or lie there with your eyes closed, continuing to breathe. I don't want to close our time with a phrase, a mantra in Sanskrit that is tiny in the amount of letters that it has, but it is powerful in what it means. The two words are Om and Shanti. And when you translate that into English, it says, I am peace. And I share that with you because that is a mantra that took me through that frustration today. And so what I really try to reframe myself when it comes to my emotions and my responses and the stimulus coming in is I'm learning to say, I feel frustrated, but I am peace. I feel angry, but I am peace. I feel excited, and I am peace. So over the coming days, I would invite you just to notice the emotions that you're feeling. Don't assign them good and bad. Pay attention to the triggers that are coming in right before you feel them. And then pause. Use my words, Om Shanti. Use them in English, use them in Sanskrit. It does not matter. I am peace. I feel angry by what just happened, but I am peace. I'm sad because of what just happened, but I am peace. So just allow yourself to feel, and then allow yourself to pause and return to the peace. Namaste.